Scott Lang is grappling with the consequences of his choices as both a superhero and a father. Approached by Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym, Lang must once again don the Ant-Man suit and fight alongside the Wasp. The urgent mission soon leads to a secret revelation from the past as the dynamic duo finds itself in an epic battle against a powerful new enemy. Welcome to this special episode of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode we'll be doing a quick review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, directed by Peyton Reed. Matt, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm splendid. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing, guys? Hope you're all well. This is just a quick little sort of special episode we just decided to throw out there. Matt and I just came back from seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Got a nice advanced screening on that. I think by like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, by a few hours, whatever the fuck. But so we'll just be kind of going through that. We're not doing it scene by scene like we do with our usual sort of long-winded episodes. This is more going to be like in the tone of Avengers Infinity War, just kind of like a quick review, because, if we want to cover it down the track, then we've always got that option as well. So, Matt, hold on. Before we kick off, just quickly, we're going to talk non-spoilers for about 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to open it up to spoilers. So you're going to hear sort of like a music cue, and when you hear that, that's when you know the spoilers are coming. So shut this shit off and go see the movie, and then come back. But Matt, talk to me. What did you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a nice, fun film. It's maybe the happiness, the joyful moment we needed after the crushing finale of Infinity War. It addresses a lot of the problems and issues I would say the first Ant-Man had, and pretty well too. So that's always great to see. It still has some of those clunky, moments that I think the first one had, but it was a great step in the right direction. And it was a little fresh in that regard. So yeah, overall had a good time. What do you reckon?
Yeah, man, it was a decent flick. I'd put it in mid-tier Marvel. I don't know where would you put it?
I would say it's like probably in the bottom tier of Marvel, but not at the bottom. Like, it beats the first Ant-Man, it beats Dark World, it beats Iron Man 2 and 3. Probably nothing else though. So it's like what? My sixth least favorite Marvel film, but like that's that's still pretty damn good. Like, even Marvel's worst films are still pretty good.
That's right. Well, yeah,
really
bottom
fun.
tier Marvel is better than terrible bottom tier DC. So
I would argue bottom tier. I was going to say bottom tier Marvel still beats top tier DC, but Wonder Woman's pretty damn great, so I can't say that.
Exactly, yeah. No, look, man, I thought this movie was pretty good. It is a bit clunky, but it is fun. And it definitely is the palate cleanser that you kind of need after Infinity War, because that shit was heavy. This has its heavy moments in it, but it definitely goes for more of a comedy. If you like the first Ant-Man, you'll definitely dig this.
Yeah.
It definitely has a lot more fun with its action sequences and things like that, and it doubles down on the relationship between Scott Lang and his daughter, which I think is some of the best parts of the movie. The villain is also pretty strong. I like the villain. There's no sort of villain in this in the traditional sense, which I thought was an interesting take. But other than that, there's not really much that shines. I did like the teamwork between Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was pretty cool. I'm definitely keen to see what else they do with that. But to be honest, that's literally all I can say. There's literally not that much else.
I would add to that I'm full in agreement and all that. But I would also add, I really like they upped the creativity with the way they used the shrinking and enlarging stuff. We did see most of that in the trailer, but I really did like the way they used it in this. And I would say that the pacing is pretty good, especially compared to the first one. That's the first thing that I noticed from the first scene. I was like, well, actually, first, a bit exposition here, but which was necessary. But like, I was like, damn, they're getting to this stuff straight away. Like, judging by the trailers, I thought, they'd be getting into all this stuff to do with like, the Wasp getting her suit, like stuff like that, and hunting down for Janet. I thought that might, it might take till the end of the first act to get into that. I thought it might but no, it just hits the ground running from the beginning.
Yeah.
The second it starts off, they've set the goal for themselves, and I think that's what's one of the biggest strengths of this film. They know to just get straight into the fun stuff. And the stuff that we want to see, and that is one of its biggest strengths. It hits the ground running, and it doesn't slow down for too long, ever.
For sure.
Which is what you want from a film like this. You want it to be fun. You want it to be going.
For sure, it definitely feels more like a family friendly movie, more than the rest of the MCU movies.
Yeah, we had a chat about this, and you brought this up to me a while ago, and I think it's a really great point. Before this film, Ant-Man 1 was correct me if I'm wrong, it was the only PG film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I want to clarify as well, because I believe it's actually PG-13 in the States. But talking about Australia, we have G, PG, M, MA, and then R18. So all of the Marvel movies besides Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp fall into the M category, which is mature audiences. And the first Ant-Man and this Ant-Man falls into PG.
Yeah, and that surprised me when you first brought that to my attention, because I'm like, no, Zoheb. These are movies mostly made for kids. They're meant to sell toys. But that's not the case. A lot of them, like I remember the first time watching Age of Ultron, and the first line of dialogue is the word shit. And that caught me off guard. I'm like, oh shit, they can swear in these? Kids are like, sure, they're talking about language and stuff. But you're right. And while the first one I didn't feel really double down in the PG-ness, from almost the first scene, I could tell in this. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not criticizing it for it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff about relating to his kid. There's no swearing. Nothing's ever too scary. I
did hear one shit.
Really? Where?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go into details, but it was there.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, it did feel very PG compared to the other films. Like, even like the way they use color and stuff, everything's really a bit more family friendly and stuff. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. If anything, it's a good thing for the kids and stuff. But it's an interesting take. They've always sold Ant-Man as this is our heist franchise. It's our only main character who's been to prison. Here it's gone to prison. He had this, he was a thief. He had this rough upbringing, but the franchise, the way that's told, it's really family friendly.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all that we can sort of say without spoilers. Do you want to jump into spoilers, Matt?
I think just before we do, I think it's just good to say that. So for people who want to know, is the film good or not? Yeah, it's great. It's really funny. There's an amazing post-credits scene. There is a good villain, like you said. It's really hard to talk without spoilers. But yeah, it's got an amazing chase sequence.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good time. And if you're a Marvel fan, you've probably already seen this, or you're going to see this anyways. So there's not really much we can say.
Just quickly, sort of hitting a bit more on the negative side. It doesn't really do anything crazy new. Do you know what I mean?
That is true.
There wasn't much sort of innovation. They do some pretty wacky stuff with the action sequences, with them growing big and getting small and things like that. But nothing really kind of groundbreaking that you've come to expect from this year's Marvel movies, especially.
Yeah, it was just them more doubling down on what they already had.
Yeah,
rather
which
than
isn't a bad thing.
Stepping out. I would, you know what? Actually, one criticism I will give is, so I was kind of surprised with the marketing that they didn't like up, because, you know, one of the criticisms Marvel's gotten is a lack of female representation and stuff. And I thought, okay, this is technically the first female superhero who has her name in the title. I thought they'd really up that with the, I don't know, female empowerment or female superhero sort of stuff. And they didn't really do that in the trailer. Like one of the selling points of the film was, oh, look how cooler she is than Ant-Man because she has lasers and wings. But the film didn't really get into that. In fact, I think we didn't get enough of Hope as the Wasp. Like, there wasn't a lot of moments where we saw just the two of them together and building a relationship as much as I kind of wanted from the film. They were great performances all around, but I kind of wished they got more into the teamwork stuff. Like, they did have some cool fight scenes where they teamed up, but that relationship between the two characters, I felt it wasn't as strong as it was in the first film, which was a little bit disappointing because I was kind of hoping to see a bit more of that. But overall,
I do agree. Yeah, no, I do definitely agree. Also, there are elements of this movie, like the first, because I haven't seen the first in a very long time, that are forgettable, which is crazy for me as a Marvel fan. It's not entirely memorable, I think.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems with the first one is that it wasn't until like the end of the first act he pretty much gets the suit, and everything before then it's a lot of setting up. This film benefits from them having the stuff straight away, but like even so, without getting into spoilers, it's probably going to be the first thing I mention once we start talking about spoilers. But without getting too much into spoilers, well, we do see the Wasp kicking butt from straight away. We don't see Ant-Man kicking butt straight away. But that's not really a criticism because I guess you have to set up characters and stuff. But yeah, overall, fun film. Wouldn't call it Marvel's best, but overall, yeah, fun.
Yeah. All right, man.
I'm getting very Deadpool 2 vibes, but with less fan service.
Yeah, no, I got that too, actually.
More of the same.
But yeah, let's get into spoilers, dude.
The only chance we've got is both of you. Ant-Man and the Wasp teaming up.
Follow my lead.
She seems more intense.
Let's talk about story first. What do you think of the actual plot in this movie?
Well, like I said, I liked how it's kicked off really quickly. First thing we met, the first scene, I even said to you, it's like, damn, there's a lot of exposition here. But I'm glad they got that out of the way quickly. And then, yeah, I like how pretty much you knew what you were getting from like the opening act of this film. I liked how it's probably one of my favorite things about the Marvel cinematic films is how you couldn't write this script without the previous one. This whole film is about the aftermath of Civil War for Ant-Man. That one line of dialogue we got in Infinity War is greatly more explained in this, which is great. But the whole story about how Ghost needed to get needed to do all this bad guy stuff to like pretty much stay alive. That was like a really great motivation for that character, and how they're just trying to find, Hope's mum, find the original Wasp. I think that was a really great motivation and drive throughout the film. And so overall, the film's plot really lends to that because it really does work for it. It still has a heist element to it, like feel with the fugitive stuff going on, which is like it helps it really thematically connect with your first one, which I liked. And overall, yeah, nothing crazy, nothing we've never seen before. If anything, the script feels a little 90s-ish Reminds me of like a 90s action film or something. But yeah, overall fun times. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally thought. I 100% agree with you. It does feel very old school. Um, Especially some of the humor during the action scenes, it's felt a bit old school, sort of 90s ish. Maybe that might be sort of like the buddy, sort of the team up aspect of it. But so going back to what you were talking about, what you like about Marvel movies and the way they kind of like carry over into the next movie and things like that. One of the big things that was introduced in Ant-Man, and it's been confirmed it's going to be a massive thing going forward in Avengers 4, is the quantum realm. That was you barely saw that in the first Ant-Man, but it was explained to us what it was and things like that. It's basically what happens when you go subatomic, and you just shrink down into just fucking nothing.
What's crazy is with this film is, as much as this film is all about that, you still don't see a lot of it.
No, you don't, but it does explore a bit more of it. It does, like,
Yeah.
I do like that you actually get some shots of it, and the shots that you do get are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and you just leaned over to me, and you're like, "Is that bacteria?" And it's like it's like some giant ass like Star Wars monster just like creeping behind Michael Douglas.
Yeah, no, seriously, it actually looked really good. I thought it was really creative. It reminded me a lot of Doctor Strange and the different dimensions.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. But the story was actually pretty decent. It's not top tier Marvel. It's not Winter Soldier, sort of spy conspiracy things like that, which is what appeals to me. This is obviously aimed to a sort of a much younger audience. It's a bit more sort of straightforward. They're just pretty much after the laboratory.
And like the first one, it felt very small scale in a way. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's by design. I think Kevin Feige's kind of seen, okay, Infinity War is going to release here, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to release in a month and a half. So let's scale it down. Let's try not to have too much here. But yeah, the plot basically follows them sort of. The number one priority is to get into the quantum realm, rescue Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Janet Van Dyne, who's the mother of Hope Van Dyne and the wife of Dr. Hank Pym, who's played by Michael Douglas, and the villain, Ghost, is actually
who in the comics is an Iron Man villain.
Yeah, I did read that. She's never fought Ant-Man, which is pretty cool. She's played by Hannah John Kamen, who was in Ready Player One earlier this year. She was Ghost was actually pretty interesting to me, in the way that she's just trying to survive. Like, she had this tragedy that happened to her during her childhood, and she's trying not to die, which I thought was very simple but kind of effective. What do you think?
Yeah, like, it's not like something like we sort of have seen that before, but the way they executed it was a bit fresh. And my favorite thing about it, I want to say, is, and we're in spoilers territory, so I can say it, is the way they ended it. Like, her character and Lawrence Fishburne's character, they ended kind of weirdly on almost good terms with the heroes, and neither of them died. So, potentially, maybe we see them in Infinity War. Avengers 4. Or maybe we see them in Ant-Man and the Wasp 2/Ant-Man 3 or something. Like, I feel like that was kind of refreshing, because I think it's like the first time since Loki in Thor 1. Oh, no, sorry. Thor 2, where it's been like, okay, the bad guy's still around.
Yeah.
Usually it's like the closing of the book. It's the end of that chapter for that character. But we didn't really get that here. Which I thought was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought it was refreshing. They're definitely improving on their villains, I thought.
I like that. I like the idea of building a character and like, you know, those TV shows from back in the day you'd see where like the bad guy would be like, I'll get you next time. And then the next episode or a few episodes later, they come back and it's like, I thought I defeated you. It's like, haha, well, actually, in case you weren't aware, I jumped out of the plane at the last second before it exploded. Damn it. Like, I love that, like, familiarity with villains, and that's very comic booky to me. And I've always been like kind of bummed that Marvel didn't do that more. Like, you know, what if we saw I don't know, Malekith from Lost World come back, you know, as generic as his character was. Lost World. Jurassic Park. Yeah. Like that's something I'm actually really stoked about for Captain Marvel is the fact that we've got Ronan the Destroyer and the other dude. They're coming back for that. Like we're getting some more familiar faces back. Very
specific, Matt. The other dude.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy that goes, who? Oh, Star-Lord, man. That guy. I forget his name. But yeah, so I really like that about how they treated the villains in this in particular.
It was cool. There was, I mean, you also had your sort of secondary villains. Walton Goggins, who I absolutely love. Man, that guy is awesome. He's in The Shield. He's in Django Unchained. He's in Justified. He's a pretty big actor.
Yeah, and he was also in Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I purposely left that out. I purposely left it out. But yeah,
he was okay in this. He didn't have a lot to do.
He was a bit more generic, I thought. Like, you know, if you have your kind of ghost who's you're a bit more sort of emotionally attached to, and then you have this guy who has a bit more fun. I think he's a bit more fun than Ghost to watch.
Actually, come to think of it, is this the first time a Marvel film has had multiple villains that weren't working together? I think it is. So in a way, that's different. Yeah, you know, we've seen it happen before in films. Like, that amazing scene from Force Awakens comes to mind, where Han Solo gets ambushed by two different gangs. Yeah, there's definitely a scene in this that reminded me of that similar vibe.
Me too. Yeah,
and I really like that because it really helped raise the stakes in this. And you know, speaking of raising the stakes, something I did not expect was the way they treated Lawrence Fishburne's character. Forget his name, but I know in the comics he's Black Goliath. But yeah, like what they did was there's a scene where like they sort of reveal him and it's like, oh, he's working with Ghost. We're in spoilers, I can say this. You really fucked up if you haven't seen this movie, you can listen to this podcast, man. I'm going deep into it. But there's that twist where which is kind of predictable. Like we've seen that before where it's like it's been bad all along. But like quickly they reveal he's not evil. He's just helping it. Like I love that scene where she's like, I'm going to go get Scott's daughter. And he just stops her and goes, if you do that, I'm out. Like that's a line we don't cross. That. And I was like, okay, so I see what's going to happen here. She's going to cross the line and then he's going to maybe team up with them. Or I was really expecting in the end, he turns big and he fights Ant-Man or fights her or something. And they didn't do that. They just let him be a good person. They just let a good person do a good thing. And weirdly, again, that's something else we haven't seen in a Marvel film before. This film, while it doesn't do anything drastically new, when I'm thinking about it now, it does a lot of new things in very small ways. Well, maybe not new for film, but new for Marvel, where they literally had this villainous character who was actually a good person. And weirdly enough, Ghost respected that, which I didn't expect that to happen. And like that was a great opportunity for the writers to really raise the stakes there in a very cliched way. And they chose not to do that. And weirdly, I respect them for doing that.
No, for sure. I really, you know, in hindsight, I actually really like Ghost. I thought her screen time was a bit more limited than what I thought it would be. She's not in it as much as I thought it would be.
She never gets that big monologue moment. You know?
Right, exactly. But she does she does get to show her powers quite a bit, which is awesome. I really liked her powers, like in the way it was done. They do this effect that's really awesome, where you kind of see like faded imagery of her faces, like she's definitely in pain, like you can see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man, and like just kind of like I like the idea of her being able to kind of like phase shift and go through shit, and that's how she fights, her fighting style. Like that early scene where she fights the Wasp, and she brings her down through a table. If you watch it closely, you see Ghost like pulling her back through the table, but Ghost phase shifts and like literally, like she the Wasp hits the table. It's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
I dig it.
How cool was that shot where she had a fist through Hank Pym's head?
Oh my god! I thought she was like kind of like I thought he was dead. Like I mean, like I was like, that's gonna kill
I
him.
was so scared they were killing him off. But the whole film, I thought they were gonna kill off Lawrence Fishburne's character. Like every time he's constantly telling her like, no, like you don't do that, or this is not how we do things. Typically in a film, what would happen is he goes, I'm not taking orders from you anymore, and like just kill him. So I was like scared because I love him as an actor.
He was good in
Speaking of
this,
which,
yeah.
I think it's kind of funny that he was in Matrix Reloaded where he fights those twin ghosts, and now he's teamed up with a ghost.
Good pull.
Both with like
Nice.
phasing abilities,
Nice.
which put a little smirk on my face. Moving on though to another character though.
Wait, before we move on, I didn't really. I mean, hindsight is 2020, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're watching the movie, you don't really realize. But now that I think about it, I didn't really like Fishburne's character. Didn't really do much.
He didn't.
Like
he was really like a supporting character for a supporting character.
Yeah, I mean, like I get that he helped Ghost become who she is, kind of thing. But then, like, that's it. That's literally his only impact in the movie.
It feels like they were setting up something that didn't happen. Like, typically, the way this film would have gone if it was written by a typical Hollywood person is, he's set up. He was Hank Pym's rival, so it should end with him fighting Hank Pym. And they don't do that. I don't know if like they're planting seeds for like part 3, or maybe there's a rewrite and they changed the ending. But something's going on there. And just speaking of the ending and speaking of stories, like we are really fresh from watching this film. We just watched a couple hours ago. But did you think the climax was a bit lacking? Like it was a bit lackluster? Because
I think the climax. I mean, I put the climax as that massive car chase.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, you have that massive car chase, which was awesome. But then
really
we also
good.
have, like, afterwards, like, they have a little mini fight with Ghost, and then they sort of come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it reminds me of, like, the only other film I can think of that does something like that. That's a sort of action film is Blonde Wick, Atomic Blonde, where they have the big 20-minute one-shot fight scene, which was fucking epic. And then, like, there's just a lot of talking, and you're like, oh, shouldn't they end the film here? Wasn't it the climax? And they had, like, a quick, like, 2-minute fight near the end, which was okay, but, like, when you do a fight scene, when you do a quick, small fight scene after a real big, epic thing, it just, the fun's, like, a bit sucked out of it for me.
No, I get you. It actually reminded me of the ending of Doctor Strange.
The come to bargain thing, instead of fighting him, they just talk it out.
Yeah, it felt a lot more intimate, which
True.
I appreciate, man. I mean, you have this massive kind of like showdown in Infinity War, and then you get kind of like this more intimate thing in this smaller scale movie. I like that. I dig that.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a thing at Marvel where they go to the writers before and like, okay, guys, we're going to give you as much freedom as you want, as long as you include these characters, X, Y, Z. And by the way, if you can you just not do a big light that goes into the sky at the end? We've done that a lot, and if you can just, maybe if you can find a way for them to solve their problems without violence, that would be appreciated, guys. Because it feels like lately, we're getting more non-traditional endings for superhero films now.
Yeah,
like the climax,
which is good.
Yeah, it is good to see them like stretch their legs a bit. it did have a little left to be desired for me, but I think that might have something to do with what I was leading to before. I'm a little disappointed of the very little amount we get of Janet Van Dyne, is it? Janet's
Janet Van
character.
Dyne.
Like a lot of people were really excited to see Michelle Pfeiffer in such a big film again and stuff like that, like in the role she had, and she did very, very little.
Yeah, she did jack shit.
She had 10 lines in the whole film. I get it. She was like the motivation. She was like Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens. Like,
well,
we're
she was
trying
the
to get to
MacGuffin.
her.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I guess we should have seen it coming. She was in the poster, but not in any trailers.
Also, what did she exactly do to Ghost? Like, I know she got powers in the quantum realm, but nothing comes of that. Like,
I think it's like she got some bullshit quantum powers where now she can manipulate quantum energy or some bullshit. It's really what it is. Her superpower now is Ex Machina. She can.
But they
she
don't
can.
really
She can
explain
connect
any of it.
Well, there's a few things they didn't explain. They're still very purposely vague about the weight and speed of things, when you shrink and grow and stuff like that. They're very vague about.
No, I'm fine with that, but I mean, when you resolve the main sort of villain's issue like that, I think we need a little bit more explanation. Do you know what I mean? All she does is literally puts her hands on Ghost's temples and literally just closes her eyes and wishes it away, and it's gone. I think we need a bit more than that.
Yeah, I think that what they were like, is probably shit, we've got to find a way to solve this problem for the bad guy. Because if they just simply, they go, we saved the original Wasp, yay! And then Ghost is like, no! And then she just disappears and evaporates like they do in Infinity War. Everyone's going to be like, oh, the heroes are assholes. They basically just killed this girl who was trying to survive. Yeah. So they had to find some way to ride around it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. What did you think of Luis and the crew?
First of all, I was surprised of how little we got of the crew.
Yeah, me too.
Luis, as always, a scene stealer. Love to see I love seeing the callback to the him telling a story sort of joke.
And they went really meta with that.
They did, but here's one thing I think they had a missed opportunity by not doubling down on him. After the first Ant-Man, one of the biggest praises it got was his performance and how fucking funny that dude is. So I'm surprised he didn't make it a fucking 3-way team up where he was with them all the time, that would have been the no-brainer move to go. So yeah, he was great, but would have liked to see more. Loved how they got a little bit of a redemption arc for everybody, how they now have their own company. But, oh man, T.I. and that other dude had
David Dastmalchian.
Always forget his name. Yeah. They had 3 lines each. I get they weren't essential for the story. They were more just an extra layer of pressure for Scott, but really underused. And again, that Luis character, so what's the actor's name? It's Michael or something, or I think it starts with M.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena, that's it. He's fucking great, dude.
He's good.
I'm surprised he's not in more leading comedic roles. He's on the rise, man, I think, because he's fucking funny as shit. But yeah, I would have liked to see more of him in this film.
Yeah.
But enough of what I think. What do you think?
Luis is funny, man. Luis is funny as hell. I think they rely on a bit too much on him at a few moments. You've got a lot of comedy in this movie. Paul Rudd is a comedian by himself. But they rely on Luis to deliver most of the punchlines, and he's good. He's really good. I just think they rely on him too much. T.I. and David Dastmalchian, they don't use them at all. They do use them, but literally just nothing else. And they started a business, that was kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, they were a bit underused. I was a bit disappointed. When you talk about
honestly, I'd be okay with losing the team as long as we kept Luis. Because the other two guys, I have no connection to them
See,
at
but
all.
you know why? It's because it's moved from a heist movie to something else, to a more generic kind of action movie.
True.
This is like, I mean, you kind of losing, you don't really have much for the heist crew to do in a movie like this. And that's why parts of the first one I actually really liked a lot better than this one, and that's the supporting cast I think worked a lot better in the first one. But yeah, dude.
Well, if you want to talk about supporting cast, you know who fucking crushed it? My boy Randall Park.
Yeah, he's really good.
He had probably the best gag in the film where he's had this really long explanation to Scott's daughter
Cassie,
about why he's on house arrest. Like, that fucking made me laugh so much. And it was interesting to see like a new government character in the MCU. Like, now that we don't have S.H.I.E.L.D., it's like there aren't many points of contact for that. So I'd be happy to see Randall Park popping up.
I can't see this guy in any other Marvel movie. I mean, it has to be this one, because can you imagine this incompetent fuckwit in a Captain America movie?
Well, he's not. He is played for more comedic reasons, and like that's probably why they picked a comedic actor. But like, he can do serious roles. He can do authoritative shit. But he can. I imagine he would be. He's not high up. He doesn't normally deal with superheroes. He normally deals with like he's from the FBI. He's not from like some world government organization thing.
Well, can you imagine him next to Martin Freeman's character from the CIA?
He'd be that's the thing. Like, I think he would take orders from someone like Martin Freeman.
Yeah, no, I get that too.
I could see him standing next to Martin Freeman, but I couldn't see him in a scene where he's talking down to him.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to see him in the rest of the MCU. To be honest, I know that sounds harsh, but
you know what?
I think
it's
he
fair.
works.
It's fair. I disagree with you, but I kind of agree with you at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah. What did you think of Ant-Man and his relationship with his daughter?
Fucking great. It's the heart of the film.
Yeah.
She was so fucking cute, that actress. Like, the shit she would say and like her little high-pitched voice, like, you just need a partner.
She's adorable. She's adorable.
So adorable. But that opening scene where like they've built some like cardboard maze with ants and stuff, it's
really
like
good.
Taken straight out of like a like early 90s comedic family friendly film. I was like, second that played, I'm like, oh shit, Zoe's right. This is made for a PG audience.
Yeah, dude, I told you.
But it's still cute as shit. We see a little bit of it in the trailer, but in the film it's a bit longer, where like they're just sitting to each other at the bed. And I love like how she's like, maybe it's their partner. And he's like, oh yeah, I got the Wasp. Oh no, I was talking about me. Like, or whatever she said. Like, that was so adorable. As a little girl thinks she could be a superhero and fight along with him. Like,
yeah,
she was great.
100%. 100%. I agree with you. Like, their relationship is definitely the heart of the movie. It's what carries Ant-Man's sort of like motivation more than anything. Like, the first half of the movie, he's literally trying to get back to his house so Cassie doesn't get in shit as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
And I actually liked how, you know, the reluctant hero has been done 100 times before, but I like this. It actually felt kind of fresh of a take, where it's like, yeah, he wants to help them find Janet and all that, but at the same time he wants to hurry up and get home because he doesn't want the FBI coming by and him risking losing his daughter and going to jail for 20 years.
Right, 100%.
And I love that extra, like, that's the best thing about this film, like the way they raise stakes in such a unique way for a superhero film.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
That was great. That being said, if I have to give my biggest complaint, this film, and I feel the same Ant-Man film too, it's so lacking in that Marvel magicness. Mm-hmm. There's something about it. I can't figure out what it is. If it's the lack of CGI.
That's why I said forgettable.
Yeah, like, I know it's like the lack of the use of CGI. If it's maybe it's the tone of it all, but it just does not feel like a Marvel film. Like, Ant-Man 1 had that scene with Falcon where he fights Falcon, which kind of gave it that. Because like, it was so forced, but it was fucking cool. So I was cool with that. But this film, like, it just did not feel like a Marvel film. It felt like
generic action
it reminds
film.
me of Deadpool in a way. Like I remember when I was watching the first Deadpool film and like for like the second or third time, and I was like, wow, when you get rid of all like the unique punchlines and swearing and gore and stuff, it does feel like a generic superhero film. It's very
for sure.
standard stick, and this is like the standardness, but it doesn't have that extra oomph to it. You know, like the shrinking stuff's cool, but it's not cool enough to carry the whole film, I think. And I feel like
I completely agree.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. Like if it's like that, this washed out grayish look with the color grading. I feel like with both films, a lot of the jokes don't land, or they don't land very hard. And I have a feeling it might be the director's fault, man. Peyton Reed, he had 2 films that have had. They're the only Marvel films where not all the jokes land. It's ironic because he's like a comedic background. Maybe it's because he's relying on a lot of improv or something, or maybe it's just whoever's writing it. But sometimes I think maybe it's Paul Rudd, but everything.
I don't think it's Paul Rudd.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like most of the jokes that don't land are said by Paul Rudd. Like I think of Civil War, the one joke that no one laughs at. Has anybody got any orange slices? Like,
I like
okay.
that.
I feel like he's also he's too much of a pretty boy to be a believable ex-con thief, you know? And yeah, like I don't know. I feel like he's too good looking. He's too all round happy go lucky. He's like this real. He feels PG. You know, he feels. I don't know, but I don't think it's his fault in particular because he does have a lot of jokes that do land. He does have great comedic timing. Maybe it's just the stuff he's working with, but and it's not just him. There are other people who have jokes that don't land too. But I just feel overall, that's 2 for 2 where they don't feel super Marvel-ish. Like they don't
feel special.
They don't. There's no moments where I'm jumping out of my seat and going, fuck, that's amazing. The only scene that this has that element is the post-credit scene, which if you told me is directed by the Roosters, I believe it. It's a short scene.
We'll get into that at the end.
Yeah, man, like it's a Marvel film. You know me, man. I should be over the moon for every Marvel film.
Well, we both kind of just sat there and we were just like, oh, yeah, it was alright.
I'm watching moments happen, but I'm not excited. I don't ever feel for the characters too much. I'm not, like the characters feel less charming than they do in other Marvel films. I'm laughing less. I'm feeling less sad during the sad bits. It's just this overall tone. I don't know. It's like it wants to be a comedy film, but it's not diving into. There's never a comedic scene. It's always just a funny one-liner that's either hit or miss in a dramatic scene. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I completely agree with you there. I think Peyton Reed's directing. It's a bit sort of like. It feels a bit like a TV movie at some points.
It does.
There's nothing really special about it. The Russos have this amazing kind of flair for like visual action kind of intensity. You know, Taika Waititi's really funny. He's got that kind of, but he can also bring the action. Who else? James Gunn has that kind of offbeat humor, but he can also bring the action.
But let's use those 3 directors, for example, right? They all use humor in like, you can tell, like, for example, some of the Russos do, and you can tell they got this straight out of like something like Arrested Development, is like they'll have shots where someone says something dumb or whatever, and then they pan to someone's reaction, you know, and they don't care if it's handheld or whatever. Like you get that. Taika Waititi, everyone is like a cartoon character, you know. They always pronunciate really crazy and they go over the top, and it's like. They're always like pulling the rug out from underneath characters. Like, I had that hammer and I throw it up and it would just pull me off the ground. Oh, hammer pulled you off, bro. Oh, no, not like that. There's a lot of like, jokes where it's like they're sort of taking shit back or they're being surprised. With this, it's more just like, it's the perfect example of like an Ant-Man joke is in the first one where Michael Douglas has this whole big rant. He's like, I need you to become the Ant-Man so I can is it too late to change the name? It's like, and you're just there like, ha. Like, that's it?
Yeah, it's just kind of like chuckle-worthy. It doesn't really stick with you. I get that. I 100% agree.
And a lot of Marvel films will do that. Like, it's a big action scene and they pause for a joke and they go back to it. But, like, these scenes almost entirely rely... they rely and they hang on to this one little passing comment.
Yeah.
It's like Paul Rudd's character, or if it's not him, it's whoever's the main character in that scene that we're in their point of view. It's like you're in a classroom and the teacher's trying to give you this really important lesson, you know, about some bullshit. But there's one kid in the background, and he's just like, is it because he's gay? And then just everyone's like, haha, whatever, it's funny. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Paul. I'm trying to hear the story, you know? Be funnier, or don't speak. I don't know. And I don't want to rip on Paul Rudd. I love him. But I only say that because he's like the titular character. But I just feel like that problem happens a lot in this film. It's like someone's acting silly when they shouldn't be, and it's not landing as hard.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And I do agree. It does feel a bit, generic, but what can you do? All right, let's... I think we've kind of hit on everything besides the end credit points, the end credit sequence. So let's wrap with that. What do you say?
Yeah. Oh, just quick little passing comments. Janet Van Dyne was in the fucking microverse, or what do you want to call it, a quantum realm for like 30 years, but she still clearly had lip injections and full makeup on, including eyeshadow. So which is just like, okay, I get it, but you wanted to look pretty, but like, come on, guys.
Her costume didn't deteriorate. Like it was still like, yeah.
I guess like her wings were broken or whatever. And I just want to double down on for a film that made a big deal about putting Wasp in the title, we got so little of that relationship. Like when they kiss, it feels unearned because there's nothing leading up to that. Like they briefly mentioned that they used to bang, but like that's it. Like they've got no scenes together where they're connecting. I feel like I know nothing about Hope other than the fact that she missed her mum and she grew up with her dad. Like we got so much character development between those two in the first film. And for a film where the selling point is it's Ant-Man with the Wasp, we get almost nothing of Ant-Man and the Wasp together. Like at the end they have this cool fight where they team up and they work well as a team. But like it's kind of like, oh, this might be too harsh, but like it's like when at the end of Batman vs Superman where they fight Doomsday, like they feel kind of disconnected. Like, yeah, they're sort of working together, but they're not talking to each other. I'm not getting that witty banter. That I feel like we were seeing very little chemistry between the two of them. And I don't think it's the actor's fault. I don't even know if it's the director's fault. I think just the script never gave them opportunities to bond and show us them as a team much.
Yep, I'm with you.
And
for sure.
Yeah, it's feels like a missed opportunity.
Didn't like there was no sort of like there was no slowdown. Like there were moments where it slowed down, but there was no slowdown where they could like kind of just interact. There were like a couple moments, but there was nothing sort of like substantial, and it was a bit of a disservice, I think. But
yeah, just like the closest thing we got was like when they're in the van and they're talking about like, oh, would have you come? Like, oh, we could have been together and fight and blah, blah. But that's kind of like, we needed more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, before we move on, can I mention one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
It's a compliment. And it's one of my favorite things about Marvel films too. It's like, I like hearing about the stuff that happens in between the films that we don't see. You know, like when we found out that after he turned to Giant Man, he was very exhausted to sleep for 3 days. That's cool, you know. I thought I was really surprised when they were like, yeah, he had to take the suit without them knowing to go help Captain America. He hadn't worn
I really like that touch.
Well, I felt I figured that like they were still working together, like, but I found it interesting to find out that he wasn't working with them ever since. You know, he's spent almost 2 years away from them. He's been disconnected. They haven't been a team anymore, and they had to sort of like come back. He hasn't been Ant-Man in almost 2 years. Like that shit, I had no idea about. It makes sense though, and I found that interesting. Like
Yeah,
the other
I totally
good
agree.
example of that was, dude, did you think it was fucking crazy when you saw Age of Ultron for the first time, right? And it starts off, they're a team, they're working together, and then they go, oh yeah, by the way, ever since the last movie, we've fought like 100 Hydra bases trying to get all this tech back and stuff like that. My mind fucking blew. I was like, what? The Avengers have been Avengering all this time? Like, there's no mention of other films. I thought, I was like, I want to see that shit. Give me 12 prequels. I want to see, like, that stuff excites me when I hear about the in-between stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's so realistic, and it's like, it's what separates the MCU from like other franchises, I think. It's like stuff like that.
No, I definitely get it. Like, that's only something you can do in a universe like this. So,
Yeah.
all right, Matt, we got to move on, or we're going to be here all day.
Sorry, I'm
Right.
rambling, bro.
No, that's cool, man. Don't
I
worry
just
about
get
it.
like this around Marvel.
I know. That's why I didn't stop you. If this was something else, I would have been like, shut the fuck up, Matt.
Matt, we know you don't care about the Meg that much. All right, it's a shark movie. Shut the fuck up about the Meg,
Oh god, I can't fucking wait for that one.
dude. It's gonna be the next Snakes on a Plane. I'm telling you.
Oh, good lord. But anyway, talk to me about. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna fucking start this one because
Do it.
this was my favorite. This was my favorite sequence of the movie.
Rightly so.
Yeah, man. Just the way it was done. It was. You could tell it was executed a little better. I actually felt like it was. When you said it was probably directed by the Russos, I was like, holy shit, it actually felt like it was directed by the Russos. Like, it felt like something that fits into Avengers Infinity War, or even Captain America Civil War. Just the way we kind of get the ominous, you know, he's in the quantum realm, he's all shrunk down, and he's like, all right, guys, get me out of here. And then you just hear the microphone just kind of like feedback, and there's like no response, and then like it cuts back
And
to
the
them
music
on the
stops
roof.
with it as well.
Yeah, but then you kind of like get this not cutaway, but it cuts back to the roof, and it's this like slow zooming shot from the bottom up, and all you see is like ash just floating in the air. And all you're like, seriously, this is what I like about seeing the movie on day one, because you're watching it with other nerds. The gasps, dude, like the oh my god, like seriously,
It was
like,
the biggest
I love,
reaction of everything.
Yeah, I love that. I love the audience. You know, I love when the audience kind of gets into it, man. Because Thanos's snap, like that's become ingrained in popular culture. Like we've seen memes about
Totally.
the Ash. Yeah, like it's a thing. So when you see all three of them, not Ant-Man. When you see Janet Van Dyne, Hope Van Dyne, and Hank Pym, like just fucking like ashed away, it was awesome, dude. And add to that the fact that Ant-Man is now stuck in the quantum realm without no one else.
Saw that coming, right?
Yeah, like it was like, I mean, fair enough. I think most of us saw that someone was going to be turned into ash, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone kind of guessed that all three of them would be turned into ash. Plus, Ant-Man is going to be trapped in the quantum realm. Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Totally
cool.
Totally agree. And it also shows like the great little clues that Marvel leaves behind. Like they mentioned, was it time vortex or something? It's been widely speculated that Avengers 4 would heavily involve time travel. So potential spoilers for Avengers 4, I guess. So the fact that they've hinted at it with
We don't know shit, by
time
the way.
stuff. Yeah, we don't know shit, but there's online speculation from fans. And the fact they mentioned that's kind of like exciting. And then also it's like, we know Ant-Man's going to play a big part in Avengers 4, but like it leaves you all these questions we're going to be asking for the next year. How does he get out of the quantum realm? Will we see Hope, Janet, and Hank back? If they get him out of the quantum realm, who knows about the quantum realm and can actually get him out of it? And how would they do that?
Yeah.
So many, like, is that how Hawkeye's going to come into play? Is that going to be like a Doctor Strange thing because he deals with realms and stuff? Maybe it's a science thing, and Bruce and Tony have to figure out some shit. How would they even know he's in the quantum? this is the stuff that Marvel does great with these cliffhangers. They go, it's guessing for another year. And when are they going to find out these answers in the next film? Because the next one is Captain Marvel. So that's exciting. That's fun. And if I could just give one criticism, and we sort of had a little debate about this, but I just want to throw it out there. I think there's a slight plot hole with this end because, actually, no, I should say real quick too, what I also liked about it, the fact that they went there is because they were finding stuff to help heal Ghost. So we know Ghost is still involved with their lives, which is a great way of continuing on a character after this film. So I really like that. But yeah, a little plot hole I seem to find is we know in Infinity War they attacked New York, and then there's like a time period. There's the fight in the Wakanda, and then there's a snap. So Scott somehow probably would have heard about New York, chose not to assist fighting off the aliens to do this task, and then they disappeared. Unless, I don't know, he was stuck in the quantum realm for ages, and they disappeared before the snap, before the fight in New York, which I guess wouldn't make sense. I don't know, but that's a little, it's a little pet peeve of mine. If I had to be super nitpicky,
I'm not adding to this because I can't. Like, I will not nitpick a movie that much. Like, I know, I've probably already done it on the podcast somewhere, but especially when you have a universe as big as this, like things need to work. So I don't care. It's not really.
I get it. Like I wouldn't trade it for, because that moment was pretty awesome. But yeah. I just find it hard to believe that Ant-Man wouldn't want to go help the Avengers fight aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the second end credit scene?
Yeah, it was kind of it was disposable, except I do like seeing how the outside world is reacting to the snap. Like on the TV, you get the emergency broadcasting system. Like I really like that, man. Like that was really cool because seeing the aftermath of the snap is pretty fucking cool.
I'm gonna just call it right now. Here's a joke they're gonna do in Avengers 4. I'm gonna call it now. They're like, oh, we should go see Scott. So they go to his house. And then they just see the ants just hanging around there on the drum kit or something. And there's some joke like Thor sees the giant ant. And it's like, back vile villain or some shit like that.
I can't see it being that cheesy. Like I didn't like.
I would love to see. I
didn't like the ants in this.
It's always been a cheesy element of Ant-Man. And when they were talking about doing the film, I thought they might just ignore the ants altogether, get rid of them. Get all the talking to ants. It's like Aquaman talking to fish. I assume they would get rid of him for this franchise and just do the shrinking. I'm surprised they've doubled down as much as they have. But I think it could be a fun moment to see the Avengers react to a giant ant. That could be a nugget there. What do you think of Stan Lee cameo?
It was funny, like a drug reference.
Yeah,
it was cool, man. It was like a drug reference in a kids movie. Well, I'm gonna say it's a kids movie like this. Yeah. Like it was pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyways,
I think that's all I got on this, man.
Yeah, I think I'm tapped. We talked for a lot longer than we thought we would. We initially said we were in the car on the way home and we were like, oh man, we're not gonna be. I mean, like I don't have much to say, but looking back on it now, overall, dude, I think I like the first movie better.
Nah, I definitely like the second better.
I like the
first one.
Wait, let me tell you why. Why. I like the straightforwardness. I like the heist aspect. I like the team. I like the cheesiness of Yellowjacket. Like he was a bit more. The end fight scene really was awesome. Like it was really creative. It was really creative. Cool. And I like it was a bit too much like Iron Man, the first one with Obadiah, but I liked.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, who do you like better, Yellowjacket or Ghost?
Well, that's what I'm trying to decide. Like Yellowjacket was definitely more cliche, but I really like Corey Stoll as an actor, and he bought it in that movie. Like he kind of sold you on like the evil kind of corporate greed guy.
I think he had better action scenes too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the action scenes in this were pretty cool. Like that car chase was pretty fucking spectacular.
It was, but like this is like I think what the film is missing, and this is what I was getting at before. I reckon I expected, you know, the end fight would have something to do with going big or going small. Like even how we see him as big. Like I get it, the chase thing, but like I was kind of expecting / hoping for Lawrence Fishburne to get it, put on a suit, turn to a giant, and we have 2 giant men fights, and we get a fucking Godzilla fight. You know, that would have been so dope. But I think they're saving it.
The guy's name is, like, he literally says Project Goliath, so I was like, okay, this is where we're headed. So, yeah.
Yeah, it did seem weird, like, with his character, it seemed like they kept setting up things that didn't pay off, which was a bummer of the film, but I think they're setting it up for a sequel, but yeah, so you reckon the first one's better?
Yes, but slightly. Like not insanely. What would you give this out of 10?
See, I think I like this better than the first because the opening act of Ant-Man 1 is so slow for me. But once it picks up, it picks up. This movie, I like the action scenes better in general. I think this film's like it's a light to decent 7.
Yep. I'm sitting with you there as well. That's a 7 for me as well.
It's
overall,
not shit. I wouldn't go to a 6.
No.
If I'm really critical, a 6.5. But it's not an 8.
No MCU movie is a shit movie to me. There's no way. Even Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World, none of them are shit. Like, they're just not as good as some of the other stuff. So
Iron Man 2 is definitely my least favorite. That's like maybe a 5.5 for me, I would say.
I'd say Iron Man 2 is a bit... I'd say that's a low 7 for me, actually. I really like Sam Rockwell.
I could do a whole podcast about how much I dislike Iron Man 2. I think it's... Anyways, well, so we're both 7 out of 10?
Yeah, 7 out of 10. Yeah, well, do you have anything else to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Not really. Other than, what are your thoughts going forward? So we get an Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 or an Ant-Man 3 or whatever they call it. What would you like to see happen to this franchise moving forward? What would take it to get out of these 7s and into like a 9 or a 10?
To be fair, man, I'd like it to go a lot further into the quantum realm.
Yeah, I think that's a smart choice.
I really dig. I love the idea of them going, like, being so small that they, you know, go into things that we haven't even discovered yet. Like, that is awesome.
Yeah, like they could do like a whole Star Wars space movie in the quantum realm.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like Avengers 4 is kind of headed in that direction because I believe it was Kevin Feige said, you know, keep an eye out for the things that they do in the quantum realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp because they're going to be doing a lot of that kind of stuff in Avengers 4, which will be really cool.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
I think for me, I want to see a much stronger relationship between Hope and Scott.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to, if they try and selling us that they're in love, I want to see them in love. I want to see them have a good time. I want us to care about their relationship because they're really failing on that for me. I want to see a new director. I feel like he's had 2 swings and misses almost. Like I feel like this franchise is being a little bit wasted. I think it would be really cool to see. Like in the first movie, we got 2 small guys fighting. I want to see 2 big guys fighting. I want him to fight another giant. Oh, it'd be so cool if they did a riff on like Godzilla and stuff. Like, that could be really cool. But yeah, and I want them to spend most of the film in the quantum realm and just try some crazy Doctor Strange Guardians of the Galaxy shit. And yeah, just please. Give us a better relationship between, and you know, somehow they can bring in the daughter a bit. Like they've done a good job with the daughter. I think they're clearly setting up for they're going to do a lot with her. So I think they've got that down right. They've got using the shrinking ability in some smart ways, right, and creative ways. But I just want to see more of that relationship. I think and some crazier stuff. Give it to a new director who's willing to just go Thor Ragnarok on it. Hell, give it to Taika Waititi. Give me something fucking crazy and bonkers. because yeah, I just want to see something new.
I'm with you.
All right,
Yeah.
so to wrap it up, where can we find Midnight Double Feature?
Dude, I was actually telling Colin, he's actually so much better at this. Midnight Double Feature, you can find us on Facebook primarily. Facebook, Midnight Double Feature, that's where we post all of our main stuff. So things like, we've got a new episode out, so that's where you can go for that. We also have another kind of fuck around page where we post memes and just mess around. That's called the After Party. After Party is 2 words. Definitely hit us up in there. We have some fucking laughs in there. Another thing that we're kind of really hitting on right now, and it's growing. Our community is growing on there. Is Instagram. At Midnight Double Feature. You can always hit us up on there as well. Also, if you feel, we're missing things or you want us to improve something, or if you're just kind of sick of hearing our voices, send us an email at midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Matt, where can we find you?
I've got a Facebook page, Velomat Films. You can see the creative stuff I'm up to there. Or most way, if you want to get in touch with me, you want to talk some shit about movies, slide into my DMs at Velomat on Instagram. It's just me, Matt Vella, flip it around, Velomat. And I love talking about shit like this, man, especially Marvel stuff. So holler at your boy.
Awesome. You hear that, bitches? Slide into those DMs. All right, Matt. Unless you got anything else to say, I think we're out of here.
Man, I am all talked out, and I apologize for that.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Catch you guys later.
Catch you guys. Thanks for listening.